Okay, so we've drawn and put all of the meat and skin on the body here. We've got everything below the neck. We can draw in a few more lines there to make it look more realistic. Okay, so now you have pretty much what the human body looks like. You can draw in the head based on what we did earlier, right? So we have the human head there. There's about the nose, and the eyes are going to come in here. All right, so now you've got the typical human male body. Now, I didn't want to do an action figure directly because, you know, you really got to learn the basics first. But using this 8-head tall body and, you know, breaking it down and putting down the different places where these things go, the different parts of the human body, after a while you'll be able to compose an action figure based on that. You might decide, well, okay, I'm going to draw the human head at this angle, right? And then, okay, here's one head, and I'm going to come down here for another head. I know that his rib cage is going to fit in here, and then here's the other head. That's going to be the top of the groin, right? Oh, well, now the hip bones are right there. Those are those circles he told me about earlier. You know, he only drew them as lines like that. So now we got the top of the groin. You know, you're going to have the femur come down, and it's going to be, here's one head, here's another head. That's going to be the second line from the bottom. That's going to be the tops of his knees. And here's going to be one head, two heads. So now we've got some start of what a figure might look like even running. Okay, so here we go. There's the top of the knee. This is one head here, one head here to here, and then one head and another head and the foot. And we'll draw here. This elbow comes in right about the hips. All right, so he's carrying something maybe. There's another elbow. And again, you know where the head is going to be. And again, for action, I would recommend doing the circle and a separate jaw, okay? Because that's easier to move around than a circle, an oval shape. I mean, either one, you're going to develop your own style. Now, this is a typical, you know, what you guys were looking like before. He's got his weapon. He's finger out of the trigger guard. He's at rest. And again, this is just the standard up and down. There's 8 heads in here when you count them. There's the knees right there. There's the 1, 2. Bottoms of his knees are right here. And coming up, there's 4. There's the top of the groin. And again, you're drawing all this in lightly. So later on when you come in and you start drawing clothing and all that, you don't have to fight with those lines you drew earlier. And you can start drawing in pouches and things like that. And then, you know, eventually you progress to this kind of thing where you start to turn the head, you move the arms a little bit more based on, you know, the dimensions. Here you look, and here this elbow is ending right about at the hips. These are quick sketches, okay? These are meant to get an idea of where you want your finished artwork to be. And here, I didn't want to draw this initially for you, but, you know, as you draw more and more, you start to understand what shortening does when a particular part of the body's in movement. This leg is back, he's walking, so it won't be the full 2 heads here, you know, from the bottom of the knee to the heel. It has to swing back and shorten up. See, now here's a type of action picture you might try and draw later on. Again, this was all done with the circle for the hips, the rib cage, the 1 head tall. The elbow is coming in right at about the hip there. And it's better you start to get a pretty good feel of where the motion's got to be, how to balance the figure. And as we draw, as you develop these scenes, I want you to keep in mind that, you know, these things you're drawing here, think of your composition as well. You might decide, you're drawing in a sketchbook for maybe a painting or another piece of artwork to be put on some other panel or canvas, you might decide, you know what, it doesn't work like that. You might decide maybe even at a bit of an angle. You know, we've come in and we're only going to take this part of them right here, okay? So that's one of the things that's important about sketching is you learn, you know, how to crop and where you want to actually use what you want to use. Feet are also difficult. You know, you're going to have to learn how to draw the foot at different angles, you know. And again, you can practice using your own body or, you know, just looking up in just the right books. So don't get discouraged and keep practicing.